Good morning, everybody. Wherever in the world you are, I don't know where you are, but here I am live on Drop In with Arrow again. So I hope you're all having a fantastic Friday. Um, and I'm happy to have you join me just for a few minutes while we go through the week's events and upcoming events and just really some points of interest that I like to chat about. Um, just this past week on the shows we did, of course, those of you really who love Jessie had quite a have been doing the gateway experiment with her, and very, very interesting information. So for those of you who haven't actually seen that yet, I want to highly recommend that you maybe watch that one because it's incredibly interesting. Also, a very interesting interview this past week, if you've missed it, is with Asia Rain, who was trafficked through the Mormon church. Horrible stories there, really, really horrible. And part of her testimony is that I do believe there were 15 guys at the head of the Mormon church, or in that division. I don't know how that structure works, so I can't be sure about that, but she was abused by 10 of them. So it's just horrific to hear these stories that are coming up with our survivors and our overcomers. Anyway, so what's up next week is again Bryce on Monday with Emerald Tablets. Got Mr. Fox on, and he'll be on Tuesday though, but we do record with him on Monday, talking more further into about the organic portals, which super interesting when you're looking at people around us and how certain people behave, and when we really just cannot understand that someone can do something that extreme. This information makes a lot of sense. So again, if you haven't seen the interviews with Mr. Fox, I want to highly recommend that you maybe go and watch those. I've actually done 2 with him in the past. Tuesday at 4:00 my time, and Morné will put up the little weekly schedule. We're just live at the moment and having a few computer problems. So he will put up the weekly schedule on Sunday. I think he usually does it, so it will go up then. So Alice Parola will be and Jessie at 4:00 on Tuesday. So we're having Alice Parola and her family join Jessie Zaboton. We're going to be talking about, again, mental labels, mental health labels, if you will. And we can go deeper into that because I think, again, I always say this, that is such an important topic that we're dealing with now, especially. And those of us who've been watching these shows, we understand that in the next few years, we're going to be dealing with more and more and more people coming out of SRA, and we're going to be hearing more and more horrific stories about what's really going on behind the scenes. I wonder if we will ever really hear the truth about everything. But, and to understand the effect that's had on people, and especially those who are suffering from mental disorders due to trauma as a child, I think we really need to understand that, and also need to understand if it's happening in our home, there is help. You're not alone. It's not anything to be ashamed of. And that is really why we're having these, the chats about mental health. Good to see you all. Freebird, Carol, Lanazi. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Thanks, guys, for joining me. Good to see you here. Okay, then that's Tuesday. But Tuesday we're going to be also be doing Mr. Fox's chat. We're going to be airing that then, although that's not live. Wednesday again, Jessie. We have our normal Jessie show. In fact, Morné, do we have 2 shows with Jessie on Wednesday? I do believe that, right? Can you just give me a thumbs up there in the background? 2? I think we've got 2 with Jessie this week. I've not updated my calendar. But at the very worst, you're going to have one on Wednesday and one on Tuesday, and then very possibly two on Wednesday. Who knows? Anything is possible. And then, of course, Thursday, Asia Rain again, follow-up interview on Thursday the 15th. And I do believe that is 4 p.m. my time again. In fact, 3:30 my time, which is going to make it, I don't know what, we'll put it down there. And on the schedule, that is, again, follow up with Asia Rain, who was trafficked by the Mormon Church. Lots of information to come out there. And then I do believe on Friday next week, we, along with the drop-in, I have Bryce and Catherine again for our little hanging out with Bryce and Catherine. So that's coming up this week, guys. Some fun chats. If there's anyone, if there's anything else that we're going to be dealing with, I'll certainly let you know. Good morning, Cab. We'll certainly post it up on the community tabs. Anyway, so again, I don't know if you guys watched last week's drop in with Arab, but we were speaking about the gay community and how they're basically telling us they're coming for our kids, and it's really not the core gay community, which is the original authentic gay people that really just fought to live a life of equal rights without being harassed, right? And if they wanted to if they felt they wanted to have a sex change, that was purely something that was driven from within them and not something that was forced upon them and thrown in their faces. And really, it's not just the trans, as I said before, it's really not just the trans community that is sexualizing our kids now. It's been going on since forever, right? It really has been. It started off with women and men, being normal, if you will. And now it's just going into something absolutely more and more depraved. Now, the first thing that, when we look at that from last week as well, I just felt it would be cool to really carry on with the other topics that are in line with that. And one of the first ones I saw this week, which was really disturbing, is on Instagram. It's about Instagram and how Instagram is really now, and I wonder if Morné can just put that up. Hey, Shannon, welcome. Very nice to see you, Lisa. Hello. Okay, so interview done in the Wall Street Journal, in fact, and this was done June 7th, 2023 by Jeff Horwitz and Catherine Blunt. And I'm going to read it because I think it is important that we kind of say everything here, but you guys can just follow it on the screen there. Instagram, the popular social media site owned by Meta Platforms, helps connect and promote a vast network of accounts openly devoted to the commission and purchase of underage sex content, according to investigations by the Wall Street Journal and researchers at Stanford University and the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Pedophiles have long used the internet, but unlike the forums and file transfer services that cater to people who have interest in illicit content, Instagram doesn't merely host these activities. Its algorithms promote them. Instagram connects pedos and guides them to content sellers via recommendation systems that excel at linking those who share niche interests, the journal and the academic researchers found. Though out of sight for most of the platform, the sexualized accounts on Instagram are brazen about their interest. These researchers found that Instagram enabled people to search explicit hashtags such as pedo, or I don't even want to say it because I don't even know if I'm allowed to say it here, but I think you get the drift, and preteen sex, and connected them to accounts that use the terms to advertise child sex material for sale. Such accounts often claim to be run by the children themselves and use overtly sexual handles, incorporating words such as little slut for you. Instagram accounts offering to sell illicit sex material generally don't push it openly, instead posting menus of content. Now, this is very interesting, guys. So, I mean, obviously they're using the same pedo symbols, but very interesting what's coming up here. Some menus include prices for videos of children harming themselves and imagery of the minor performing sexual acts with animals. Researchers at the Stanford Internet Observatory found at the right price, the pedophilic accounts on Instagram mix brazenness and superficial efforts to veil their activities. Researchers found certain emojis function as a kind of code, such as an image of a map, right? So the map, MAP, would then mean minor attracted person. So it would be that the initials, right? Or one of cheese pizza, which shares its initials with child pornography, so the CP, right? According to Levine of UMass, many declare themselves of lovers of the little things in life. And I'm telling you, I have definitely seen that on people's profiles, and without even realizing what that means, that lovers of the little things in life. Accounts identify themselves as seller or seller with a 3, and many state their preferred form of payment in their bios. These seller accounts often convey the child's purported age by saying they are on chapter 14 or age 31, followed by an emoji of a reverse arrow. Some of their accounts bore indications of sex trafficking, said Levine of UMass, such as one displaying a teenager with the word H-O-R-E, W-H-O-R-E, sorry, scrawled across her face. Some users claiming to sell self-produced sex content say they are faceless, offering images only from the neck down because of past experiences in which customers have stalked or blackmailed them. Others take the risk, charging a premium for images and videos that could reveal their identity by showing their face. Many of the accounts show users with cutting scars on the inside of their arms or thighs, and a number of them cite past sexual abuse. Wow. This is extremely disturbing. We know that these platforms are owned by Meta, Facebook. All of these platforms are really owned by the same media houses, if you will. And it's clear they are gunning for our kids in a major way. You know, guys, so many of us sit and think, well, what can we do? We feel so helpless. You know, we're trying to tell our family and friends and spread the news in that way, and no one believes us, what have you. But you know, the only thing we really can do is take action. When we see stuff like this, we have to take action. If we come across profiles like this, it's up to us as the individuals to take action against these by reporting them, by blocking them, whatever it is. You know, we've got to find ways, even if it means we ourselves as the community who are shit hot with computers and technology and stuff, and I'm sorry that would not include me in that equation. I'll be used for different things. But to set up, you know, traps, I don't know how we can do this, but somehow we as the communities are the only ones who can stop this. That is becoming more and more apparent to me. And if we go back to the video I posted, the arrow drop week before last, where I spoke about the 21 lizard star systems that are just on this side of the galaxy that literally take over other planets. And all of us on these platforms know that that's literally what's happening, as crazy as what it seems. So their aim is to come, in this case, to Earth, enslave its inhabitants. How do they do that? Literally by dumbing us down through technology, through buying excess stuff we don't need, through media, through all sorts of the shallow stuff that we're encountering. So we disconnect. And so they're able to enslave us and turn us into their slaves. That's how they do it. But the one thing that we have as human beings that they do not have is consciousness. So once we raise our consciousness, it's game over for them. And how do we raise our consciousness? Because consciousness is an expression from your soul. That is why they're forever trying to sneak your soul. They're trying to get you to sell their soul. Because your soul is obviously you, right? Your spirit being, right? Now, depending on your experiences in life and how you grow and how you expand, your consciousness expands. So as we grow as humans in our spirit, so our consciousness expands, which means our frequency lifts. And no, people, there's nothing new age about that, please. You are created from energy. So as your heart vibration raises, as you become more in tune with you, your consciousness expands and you become bigger, brighter. You then become, and I always use this analogy, like a cloud. It's beautiful, white, silver lining. You can just take that as a shape, right? You become like this beautiful cloud. And the lead of the lower vibrating frequencies cannot hold on to you. So it's like a lead fist trying to grab something invisible. You can absolutely see it, you can shape it, you can admire it, but you can't steal it. You can't touch it. That's what happens. That's what Jesus is teaching us. That's the teachings of Christ, is to raise your consciousness through your heart. And when you do that, they can't do anything. While we're in fear, that's when we're accessible. That's when we are targets. That's when they can take us. That's when we are disconnected. When we are disconnected from our families, from spirit, whether it's Jesus or whatever religion or denomination you choose to follow, right? So whatever that is for you, you need to be connected and in tune. And that's when it's game over for these guys. So we have to realize that we can't fall into fear. And because the next topic that I just wanted to touch on as well, still in line with that, here in South Africa, WOOLWORTHS. Now, WOOLWORTHS is a upmarket store, if you will, that sells everything from clothing to food to anything really. Quite expensive, pretty expensive. And, you know, if you go and shop at Woolies for your food, you've kind of made it in life. Although I'll tell you it's organic, and you know, I mean, those tomatoes, there's nothing organic about Woolies. It's all done through permaculture anyway, and it's no soil. But anyway, I've boycotted Woolies for 3 years already, Woolworths. But right now, what's happening in South Africa as well, there's been a call to boycott Woolworths because they have really embraced the sexual rights movement. The Family Policy Institute has actually called for this boycott because basically in all their, you know, they've embraced the sexual right movement in all their policies. So they've created a special range of clothing, which is fine, absolutely, for obviously same-sex people, whatever. I'm not, Morné, can you put something just in terms of that up, the woolly stuff that I sent you? But also, you know, they including children for Pride Month. Now, when you see what the children, the baby grows and things, they've got these little beastie boys on. So the children are not actually like I think it was Celine Dion, right? Who brought out that range of baby grows and stuff not too long ago with all these same-sex babies or whatever it was. I don't even remember. But they're doing the same in Woolworths for the children. And I'm Morné, I don't know, can you hear me, Morné? I just want him to put up that picture because it's like as well, this goat standing up with the horns around and a red ring, that sort of thing, which is now, and two girls kissing each other. I see Morné's out of the back room, which is fine, you know. But the whole thing is that they are bringing kids into it, and the kids are being sexualized here as well. And Wooly says it's due to the commitment to inclusive justice. the Christian, which of course is all about including the same-sex marriages, relationships, which is fine. I mean, honestly, there's no problem, in my opinion, with people choosing to love someone of the same sex. I have a problem when they start pushing these agendas on the kids, okay? When they start putting these little demon creepy things on the baby grows. And I wish Morné is here, but he's not, so you guys could see a picture of that. And when we're seeing in the stores now, there's pictures, there's these Baphomet mannequins that are modeling the clothing of this transgender clothing range that they're bringing out, which is quite dangerous, because what's happening here is like what this guy, and this is a Christian group that's calling for the boycott of Woolworths. So what he's saying is Woolworths make 60% of their income over Christmas. Now, Woolworths is very, very, they make a lot of money, right, over Christmas. But what they're doing now, literally, is Christmas is supposed, really the Christian holiday, right? So what they're doing now is they're now turning that into the satanic cults festivities, if you will. And that is very concerning. But when we look at really the true roots of Christmas, was it really about Christianity all the time? I mean, the more we hear about Easter, the more we hear about Christmas, the more we hear about these holidays that we have thought are these innocent holidays and joyful times. The Halloween, we know, it's like being a funny time where we dress up. I mean, Halloween was banned in South Africa throughout my childhood. It's only been in more recent years, and I'm going to say maybe, 15 years or so, that people have been having Halloween. Yeah, we know what Halloween is all about, and we also know what Christmas is all about. So, for me, this is really this is the time where we're seeing who is taking whose side, who's on what side. We've been told all along that, of course, big corporations generally belong to the cabal, and they do, right? They do. And it's at times like these that we actually have to look at these situations, and we have to see which companies are endorsing what. When the Zappity-Doo was being forced, Discovery Health, which is one of probably the biggest medical aid company in South Africa, was forcing that. And of course, they were boycotted by a lot of people. At least here in South Africa, we are doing that. And whether it's working or not, who knows, actually. Let's hope. But, all of these big companies enforcing this stuff, if anyone is telling you that you are forced to get the Zapper by anyone, you got to know what side that person is on, whether they're doing it ignorantly or whether they're doing it out of malice, if you will. But we've got to start supporting the people, the companies, the organizations that are not linked to the cabal. For me, it's that simple. We've got to start growing our own food. We've got to start supporting our local farmers, our local communities. We've got to start being part of these local communities. I keep saying this all the time. Guys, this is the only way we're going to go forward. We've got to start using your local dressmakers, right? Instead of buying these huge brand names, that's what I've been doing for years. I'll go and buy some fabric from somewhere or have something that I like, get someone to cut it up, or make something for me that I like. You actually then giving money back to your community. That money is paying for that child's ballet lessons. That money is paying for that child to go to karate classes or whatever it is. And I'm really wanting to call for our entire communities to actually start forming communities, for us to start forming communities, because this is getting very, very serious now. And especially when you look at the kids in, the kids schooling. Was it last week or the week before? I posted about the 6-year-old giving a 6-year-old boy oral in class while the teacher's watching. And someone is filming. Is that really what we want our kids exposed to? Because the more we're sending them to these government controlled organizations, that's what we're coming back with. That's what we're going to get. You know, this to me is a whole call for parents to plug back in. You know, this nonsense that we've had to now have both parents working, that we have to have 2 cars in the household, whatever. I'm sorry, I'm a conservative girl, but I'm still very much independent. But I still believe in the family unit. I believe that children need to be with their parents. And if we all decided collectively to downscale our lifestyles, that we didn't need to have 3 houses and 17 boats, or whatever it is that we think we need, that really the ultimate wealth and the ultimate richness is you investing time in you and your family and your children, and teaching them the values that I do believe God, divine creator, has chosen for us here on earth. Miracles are our birthright. We have been programmed, 99% of us on this planet have been programmed to be poverty stricken, have poverty consciousness, while 1% are billionaires or gazillionaires, whatever. And more we're learning that when we understand through things like the law of attraction and learning and law of correspondence, right? And learning how our energy works, because we are created from energy. And when we get out of the matrix, and when I say out of the matrix, it's out of this constantly on your cell phone, TV games, buying unnecessarily, feeding the monster. When we get out of the matrix, it's actually a beautiful time to be. And I've got to tell you, I'm not completely out of that matrix. I have my power from my government. I'm not off the grid, but it's certainly the intention for us to get there, right? Or shall I say no power from our government? Hey, we haven't had load shedding today. Yesterday, we did not have load shedding. Today, only at 6 o'clock. I'm not sure what's happening. The last I heard, they were buying some secondhand generator from the Netherlands. That was going to power up South Africa. Okay, let's see how that goes, guys. We'll keep you posted, so watch the space. Okay, everybody, I think that's all for me. And I'm just like, I want to just say definitely angels are stronger than demons, that's for sure. Yeah. And I agree, yeah, what you're saying, Paul, is that, you know, in the Rothschild generations, it's all coming from there. It's all coming from there. This has been on the up and up for many, many years now. You know, we've seen it. In hindsight, those of us who are more on the golden oldie side, we can see where we came from. I mean, when I came from, we didn't have TV. I was 16 years old before I even watched TV, right? We didn't have any of the stuff that the kids have now. And that's why it's up to us to make sure that I do believe that they get the value of what it is to have balance, to have a connection with nature, to really connect with animals, to be outside, camping in tents, going to the desert at night, or wherever it is. I honestly believe that these are the values we've got to be instilling in our kids. These are the values that we've got to be teaching them. Grow your own food, that sort of stuff. And on that note, those of you open to the SunKidz stuff, we still have the special on for the SunKidz facilitator training. I think it's for about another week. It really is teaching our kids how to live another way. It's teaching our kids how to connect with your energy. It's teaching your kids how to grow your own food. It's teaching them about massage. It's teaching them about everything, foods that are healthy. I mean, you know, it's all there. And Morné will put all the details in the link again. So if you are really feeling the calling to be one of these spreaders of new information, and you know, it's not new age, guys. This is the most ancient information on the planet that we are now using in a modern day world, using a modern day language because as I always say, if we go back, think about 2,500 years ago. I'm always being judged for being a non-Christian and whatever it is. I'm a full-on believer. I just don't believe that there's only one way and one way and one way to hear my divine creator. There's no ways. There's only one way for me, right? But I respect every denomination, and I expect why each and every person, chooses to do what they're doing. But, when we're looking at us as human beings today, never before have human beings ever had the need or the desire to introspect the way that we are introspecting now. 2,500 years ago, there was no such thing as looking at your emotions or dealing with past life traumas or wounded childhood or woundology and stuff like that. So, of course, we took gospel, what everyone else said. I mean, if you just look at the crucifixion of Christ, hello, that was a very dumb bunch of sheep human that did what very base chakra humans did. They were so in bloodlust that the one did and the other one just followed, and it became what it is today when we see, especially in those days, that whole bloodlusty arena when people were fighting and killing each other and doing things like that. We have evolved since then. As humans, we seek more of ourselves. We have the ability to introspect. We have the ability to look at things in a very different way. We have the ability to understand I can make a difference in my life just by choosing to. It doesn't mean you're a ball breaker or someone who is now not interested in having a partner. It's when you yourself find your strong identity. It's a very humbling experience, and it's something you share with grace, not with arrogance. And that's what happens when we start teaching kids from a very young age that they have the power to create their own reality simply by thinking, acting, observing, and perceiving the world and life in a very different way. Kindness is power, not big muscles and how often you've gone to the gym and how hard you can kick your rugby ball. Kindness is power. Compassion is power. Introspection is power. And that's what we teach the kids to do from a very early age. So I know I've bantered on for, I always say longer than usual, but I've enjoyed having you guys in the chat room. And I must say, these are topics very close to my heart. As you know, I work with kids. I see how adults screw them up, and it breaks my heart. And oftentimes unknowingly, right? We as parents have the best intentions for our kids. But very often when we are wounded, we carry that forward, and that's what we impose on them. And that's what we need to stop. We need to stop that karma. We need to stop that wheel. We need to realize that each and every child is an individual created by God. You as a parent, you do not own that child. You are here to guide the child. If you guys know Khalil Gibran's work, he's written The Prophet. He's written a very beautiful section on children, where he says children are life's longing for itself. And it's a very beautiful, I don't want to call it a poem, but a talk, like a section on what he says about kids and how we are yet to guide them. They are who they are. We are who we are. And we should not teach them about what we need them to be, because the past can never be replayed in the way we want it to be replayed. So we teach them about the past. They are our future, so we should allow them to teach us, but be that strong guidance for them in the meantime. Anyway, there is me. I agree, Paul. Yeah, there's a lot of different routes and means to get to the place. It doesn't matter if you drive or walk or crawl or how long it takes. The map will lead to the place. Nice, huh? Uh-huh. And there's a Hindu saying that goes, there are many roads that lead you to the top of the mountain. The only one who's wrong is the one running around telling everyone else that they are wrong for taking the wrong road. Anyway, guys and girls, I wish you a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful weekend. Now, before I have to learn how to take myself off here while I'm talking. Okay, there we go. Wait. There we go. Now I know how to do it. Okay, so I wish you a wonderful weekend. Thank you for hanging out with me. I've really enjoyed that. Next time I'll bring my cup of tea or my cup of chai, and it'll be great to see you guys again next week. And I think that's all for us for this week on ARA. And I want to say to you, thank you so much. God bless you all. Mwah. Have a beautiful week. And then again, huge thank you so much to our Patreons and for those of you who are supporting our channel. And even if you're not supporting financially, guys, I so appreciate each and every face, each and every comment, each and every like. Really, thank you so much, and God bless you all. See you soon.